knew it was coming, so the Methodist men, of course, tried to get our people organized and ready and so forth. The approaching wind blew all of the water out of the sound and pushed it up on the mainland.
We lived in Kill Devil Hills, and we were about 3 houses up from the sound. The wind came through and just blew all the water out, and it was dry.
I've seen the sound blow all the way out where you could walk across, yep.
It was kind of strange to look out and see the sound dry. As the eye passed, of course, the wind shifted back around more westerly.
Being young and probably not the smartest thing we did, we decided to walk way out into the water, and then we realized this water is going to come back, and it's going to come back fast. So we got out of there really fast.
And then the water came rushing in.
All the way up to about 2 inches from coming into our house. But right in front of our house, there was capsized boats. There was pieces of docks and piers and all that. But we got out just in time, right before the water came back up. So do not walk out into the sound during a hurricane.
So in September 2020, Hurricane Teddy was off the coast. It was like right at the peak of hurricane season. And that morning I was kind of walking the beach, and I kind of knew like there were a couple of houses that had game rooms underneath and nobody was staying there. So just kind of stepped in, ran inside. I was maybe in there for 5 minutes and just snapped a couple of photos. By that afternoon, I was getting contacted by a bunch of different editors. I think it was hard for people to wrap their heads around like what they were looking at.
I remember going surfing on pier. We hit a telephone pole in the water and we were like, let's get out. This is crazy. Like, we just need to get out.
People here are extremely in tune with the weather. In my opinion, that's a function of the fact that this place relies so heavily on the weather. In a random city or someplace, the weather really doesn't dictate their day-to-day. And here, it absolutely can and does.
Just like my business and anyone else's business, we're all weather-based.
I mean, we've worked with hurricanes right over top of us. We're holding tents down, blowing off the backs of boats. We've had to work and shelter in place on boats during storms.
Typical day for commercial fishermen is rising way before the sun, probably 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. The next thing is to look at the sky, listen to the forecast, and ascertain what the weather is going to be and how long you're going to be able to maybe work that day.
Yes. Any of my friends or the people that we know out here, we know what tide it is. We know what the wind's doing. We try to figure out what it's going to do, and then we guess 4 or 5 days out.
My relationship with the tides and the currents is of the utmost respect because I can't drink all that water. It's called the graveyard for the Atlantic for a reason.
Whether it be you're into cycling and the wind is coming out of this direction, it ends up feeling like you're going uphill for miles and miles. Or if you're walking in the woods on a kind of a dreary, foggy day, it just makes it feel really surreal. It's interesting that surfing is kind of the poster child for a directly weather-related sport, but really anything we do here is tied into the weather on a fundamental basis.
We're always ready for that time when we have to activate our emergency operations center and bring the whole team to bear to be ready to overcome a challenge that we never want to see happen. We have North Carolina Highway Patrol, we have North Carolina DOT, we have the Coast Guard. We have 30 or 40 people sitting in our emergency operations center, not just sitting there, but taking action on the priorities and the objectives that we have to execute to keep our communities safe.
When you're going down a road and a hurricane comes and somebody's having a hard time, your family goes over and helps them to board up their house. If it's an elderly person, you bring them to your house. When nobody else is coming, you have to be the rescuer yourself.
We kind of integrate with their county emergency management and fulfill one of the important roles of trying to help people save their belongings and help the victims as much as we can. When everyone else leaves, we're here to try to deal with long-term emergencies of all types.
I have learned that we have a resilient community out here. What I worry about is those that don't live here, that may not have that same exposure to the experiences that they've had growing up here, and our visitors need to listen to the locals. We can help you, help yourselves.
Every single day, the view is always changing. The clouds look different. Every sunrise and sunset is completely different. As the winds change throughout the year, those look different. It's always changing.
The sky at night here is special, let me tell you, especially on Hatteras Island where there's very little light pollution. Like seeing the Milky Way, seeing shooting stars, seeing sometimes satellites launched from Cape Canaveral in Florida. These are things you can't really see in the overwhelming majority of the East Coast. It is grounding in a way. We're on this earth in a special location.
To me, the most neatest thing I've ever witnessed, and it was 4 or 5, maybe 6 years ago, was when the Shelly Island phenomena developed off at Cape Hatteras. I kept hearing a few people saying that there was a good wave on it, and then as hurricane season approached and late August got here and nor'easters were starting to blow, it was the most magical experience, seeing a true left point break. And the watercolor, every time I went, it was the color of Scope mouthwash, green tropical Tortola water. 3 times I was there for it, and all 3 times I felt like I just came from something magical happened that day. It was cool.
Living in the moment is something that people need to really take advantage of here because it can change drastically. And when the stars align, that's the moment to take advantage of and really to really fulfill your life.
I went out after the worst of the nor'easter winds had abated a little bit to just document the rolled up ocean and the foam. As I was coming down the stairs onto the beach, I thought there was a piece of blue sea glass on the sand. I thought, oh my gosh, blue, that's amazing. All the bubbles were iridescent. It wasn't glass at all. And it reminded me again, even in the midst of loss, of destruction, there's beauty to be found if we look for it.
There is nothing like being here on the Outer Banks once a storm comes and there's like a break in the storm. It's the prettiest sky you can ever see. Just after the storm, how the seagulls come back, the air is clear, it's crisp, it's a cleansing of whatever was going on. And I enjoy that feeling that the world does not center around us. It's what it means to be from here.
PlayOBXGolf.com is your gateway to a great golf vacation on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Stretched between the Sound and the Atlantic Ocean, the Outer Banks offers a one-of-a-kind coastal golf experience. 5 award-winning courses and well-appointed golf accommodations in a picturesque setting make the Outer Banks the perfect choice for your next golf getaway. And fall is the perfect time to experience the best weather and the best course conditions of the year. Your golf trip to North Carolina's Outer Banks is just a click away at PlayOBXGolf.com.
Let's talk quality. Benchmade quality from American hardwoods and handcrafted in the USA. That's the Benchmade collection from Bassett, exclusively at Outer Banks Furniture. Each piece is meticulously crafted from Appalachian maple, cherry, or oak and made to order one at a time by American artisans in Bassett, Virginia. From a live edge table to a sharp modern edge, Benchmade has your look. Find the Benchmade collection from Bassett exclusively at Outer Banks Furniture, Milepost 1 in Kitty Hawk. Discover the Dovetail Collection by Vaughn Bassett exclusively at Outer Banks Furniture. Made in the Virginia mountains using solid American white oak, Dovetail wood joinery dates back thousands of years. The collection is designed for those who appreciate the natural look of reclaimed wood with its cracks, knots, and bold grain patterns. Each piece is available in 3 finishes and is meticulously crafted for exceptional strength to give you long-lasting beauty. Find the Dovetail Collection from Vaughn Bassett exclusively at Outer Banks Furniture, Milepost 1 in Kitty Hawk.
Kitty Hawk Surf Company, where life is better on the water. The freshest styles from the top surf brands like Rip Curl, Salty Crew, Roxy, and Pimp Shrimp. Your local shop for surf, skim, skate, and paddle sports. The exclusive Outer Banks Hobie Fishing Kayak dealer, with shops from Corolla to Hatteras. Find a location near you at khsurf.com. Kitty Hawk Surf Company, where life is better on the water.
The Corolla Wild Horse Fund was formed in 1989 by a group of grassroots volunteers who had a deep concern about the wild horses who have lived here for 5 centuries getting hit by vehicles as the area became more and more developed. We have evolved now to the point where we have full staff, and our mission is to preserve and protect the last remaining registered colonial Spanish Mustangs left in the world.
How the wild horses of Corolla found their way onto the Outer Banks has always been a mystery. Karen felt that there's remaining.
I looked to the North Carolina archives, and there are actually, we benefited because the Spaniards kept very meticulous ship's logs. And many ships that came over here, because this was basically uncharted water, ran aground on sandbars. And in order to lighten the load and refloat the ship, the heavy things went overboard, and one of the heavy things that went overboard was horses. And we know that every Spanish ship that came over to this part of the New World had horses on board. Some of the horses obviously were able to swim ashore because these sandbars that run off the island, the water's very shallow. If you watch people swimming in the ocean, they can be out quite far and only be up to their knees. So, and also